We're worried that if we celebrate too much, I promise you, this gets you to your next goal faster. The people who don't stop to celebrate are the ones who burn out, are the ones who fizzle out, who never go past a certain level. And that level is also something you've set internally. But the more I celebrate, the more I say, Markus, you are killing it, my bar does keep getting higher, because I'm like, well, a guy like me who wins this much, shouldn't he get to these way higher levels? But if you go, how high should I get in life? Well, got a lot of losses. Probably right here is where I deserve to be. You don't have to worry about becoming an arrogant punk. So you've already qualified yourself as the awesome person that I know you are.
Hello and welcome back to the Connected Mindset Live. Feeling a little extra connected this morning. We have a very special guest. It's that time of year where everybody starts to kind of plan out what their 2025 looks like. A lot of visioning and thinking about, where are you headed and what game are you playing? The guest today brings an incredible amount of energy. Every time I get the opportunity to speak with him, I leave better off, which is, I know, one of his core values. And he recently came out with a book called Play a Bigger Game. And we're going to talk a lot about that here shortly. But I know what the game is that I'm playing, and what the game I used to play was baseball. And now I'm playing a different game. We have to understand how to navigate those transitions, and really looking forward to diving in to that with Mr. Markus Kaulius. Markus, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, great. Pumped to be here. But can we stop for a second and talk about how awesome that intro video is? Like, I'm just pumped right now. The music has got me going. This is going to be a good morning.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, Markus. So one of the ways we like to start the show, to give the audience, a very passionate audience, a little bit of insight into who Markus is. We like to start with, a little bit about the younger Markus and how that got you to the person that's with us today.
Awesome. Thank you. I would say glorious contrast to what you see in front of you. My first 15 years, they were the worst. Oh, they were so bad. I had nothing, and I felt like I was nothing. Came from a very broken family, cursed with divorce. Father gone, mom had to go to school full-time, work full-time, and so I lost both of my parents on that day. And I grew up just not feeling love in the home, not feeling worthy of love, broken every way, like financially, spiritually, weak. I got bullied so hard. Like, truly, that was who I was. I was bullied. And I know why I was a target. I do. When you don't know a thing about who you are, you're so nervous about who you are, embarrassed of who you are. And then ultimately, I was stuck. I just felt stuck in every way. Is there anything better? And I was so fortunate to hit my rock bottom at 15 years old. And when I hit my rock bottom, I was like, I just don't know. I just don't know if there's anything better. And that was the defining moment in my life when God intervened and said, hey, I was about to go on a trip. My father popped back into my life and said, hey, I'm going on a trip with my new family. Would you like to come? Of course, I'm going to say yes. And on that flight, I felt God say to me, and by the way, I felt this in every cell of my body, where you're going, no one knows who you are. You could be who you want to be. You could carve your own path. And I knew it to be true. And I stepped off that plane a totally different human being. And I want to just pause right there for a second, because if anyone's going, well, so do I have to wait for God to speak to me? No, you can make this decision right now today. You can hear these words and go, what would it look like if I got to carve my own path? If I wanted to change something about my life? And for me, I'll tell you, it all started with confidence. I had zero. I had zero confidence, which I know a lot of people who know me today are like, is that even possible? And it's like, yeah, the contrast is so great. And all I had to do was go, what would a confident person look like? Well, first of all, those shoulders go back. I'm going to make better eye contact. I'm going to speak with more authority. When I shake your hand, it's going to be firm because I know who I am. Then the confident person is going to do things, create habits every single day that make them more confident. We know what that looks like. This is one of my ultimate principles that I try and teach people every day. If I look at your day, if I look at your habits that you do every day, would you look at that habit, that group of habits, that day, that schedule, and say, there's a winning formula? It is that easy. Most people who are stuck, most people who aren't moving forward in life, you can look at that formula and go, no, yeah, it's not a winning formula. And at the very least, you can say, I've been trying this for years. It's not doing anything. Okay, real simple. Let's start making changes. And you don't have to do the 180 like I did. So I made a full 180 at that day. But even just these tiny incremental changes, these little habits that you're going to change each day. So don't go from 0 workouts to 7 workouts per week, 14 hours a day in the gym. It's unsustainable. We've all tried it. We've all failed at it. But just to say, I'm going to do some workouts. I'm going to go for a 10 to 15 minute walk each day. Start there. Okay, I got off on a tangent, but I was just really excited. There's where I started.
No, I love it. I think that's provides color to everything you've done up to this point. I think a lot of people, when they look at entrepreneurs and they look at people who have sold companies and are building other companies, a lot of times they don't have the opportunity to hear what it took to get them there, and the states that they had to change and pivot and make these pretty risky moves in their life in order to get them there. They just see the end result. And I think it's just so important for us as leaders in our communities, in our families, with the people that we speak with, to be able to shed light on where those points in our lives that made us who we are, and sharing what it felt like to be in that, what state you felt unconfident, you felt like you didn't have the ability to speak up or shake a hand firmly, because you didn't have that internal voice telling you, I'm confident, I can do this, I am the person I need to be to execute upon this. And I just see so many people struggling with that in their entrepreneurial journey, because it's relatively lonely. They don't know how to prioritize what to do. They're hearing different perspectives from all different types of people. So I think understanding that past is so incredible. And where my mind goes is, I'm curious, from that 15-year-old Markus to the person that started maybe that first company or went out and did that first big thing. Obviously, stepping off that plane was that first big step. But when it came to kind of starting, where you started to play, a bigger game from an entrepreneurial standpoint as a family person, in your faith, what did that process look like from, that 15-year-old person that kind of found himself and had a little bit of grounding to being able to go and take, those first few risks that kind of set your career, your family, your faith up?
Oh, great questions, brother. Thank you. I'm gonna encourage everybody, work on your mindset. And if you haven't looked at that personal growth, that personal mindset stuff, get into it. Just start putting your feet in the water, because that was so transformative to me. Because it's not just a set of actions you can start taking. I mean, they help. Taking action helps. It's huge. It's actually critical. But the best action you can do is to start working on your mindset. Because with the wrong mindset, you are still probably destined for failure, because any challenge that comes your way, if you don't look at it the right way. So for me, all those years, I was looking at challenges the wrong way. Like, oh, poor me. How could I ever get ahead? Don't you understand how bad I have it? Don't you understand? And what you said, Greg, that voice in the head, oh my goodness. I had the most negative human being living in there. It was the worst. I had to learn to change that. By the way, that is a beautiful thing to change. What if instead of this negative Nancy in your head, always, you can't do that, you're not good enough, are you kidding me? Look at all the bad things I can tell you about yourself. What if it was your best cheerleader? You imagine how different your life would be if instead of, oh, Markus, you can't do that. Oh, Markus, you can do it. Oh, that sounds awesome. We're going to learn something. We're going to have fun. And I mean, right in there, I want to just pick apart those words really quick. It's not about, I will succeed. Like yes, I have my goals, but I'm not so tied to the results. And this is something you were talking about, Greg. We focus on those results. I have those results in mind. Those are the goals I have. But then I'm really loosely tied to them. I just know what I have to do and who I have to become to get those results. And now I'm going to focus on those. And those are going to change. And the results are going to change. But one of the craziest things when we get so focused on where do I have to be and by when, because we put these crazy rules on ourselves. Well, if I'm not a millionaire by the time I'm 22, I've already failed. Really? At 23, you turned into a millionaire, and is that failure? Here's the craziest part about mindset. If we don't look back and go, well, when did I set this goal and why is it so important? We can actually hit that millionaire status at 23 and be like, but I wasn't 22. And it's like, are you kidding me? Let's celebrate, bro. And if you are thinking that way, that at 23, you hit your millionaire status and you're disappointed, what do you think your life's going to be like at 24 and 34 and 64? I'm a fulfillment guy. I'm a guy who wants to experience success at any level. I don't care about the dollars in the bank account. Of course, it's important. We need a certain amount of money to live, just like we need a certain amount of air to breathe. But I'm not going to focus on air every single, oh, did I get enough air right now? Greg, are you getting enough air? Oh, we should be thinking about air all the time. It's like, no. Money's just one of the many variables that equal success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so powerful. I know so many people needed to hear that. When it comes to, not always being deficient, I think that's something, especially in entrepreneurs, I see it all the time because they're always chasing that next goal. And they're always not good enough. And then when they reach the goal, they set the next goal. So they're always in that position of not good enough. And it's that internal voice just, telling them you need to be better, you need to be doing more, you need to be, sharper, or you need to, sell a little bit better. And they're always picking apart, and I think it's productive. When I was an athlete, and I know you've been in the athletic game. And, you always want to keep moving forward, but you want to still enjoy those small moments that, that rep that you've been looking forward to, or that run that you hit that 1 mile, as opposed to thinking about, I didn't hit 10 miles. And that's what everybody on social media is talking about, the 10-mile race. And once you hit that 1 mile, kind of giving yourself that internal reward system, I think that we all need. And it sounds like you learned that from that confidence building process, is how to give yourself that kind of internal reward system to enjoy those small moments.
Yes, Greg, we got to dive into a little bit deeper on this, because you are nailing it. You're doing a great job, by the way. But that voice and setting goals and getting ahead further, these things are so perfectly intertwined. So let's take a quick minute, and I want to encourage all of you entrepreneurs, take time today. Like literally after you finish this podcast today, because I know we're live, so I don't want you to pause it or turn it off. Take 5 minutes and just think about some of the wins you've had lately. The wins in business, the wins in your personal life, the wins in your health and your fitness. It is so critical to stop and think about that. So you go, man, I'm doing a great job. Those are what will build that voice into a more positive machine. Because if we don't ever stop to look at the wins, oh, you better believe we're tallying up the losses. Well, remember when you screwed up there and there and there and there. And let me encourage you, entrepreneurs. I know how your brain thinks. It's the same as mine. We're worried that if we celebrate too much, we're going to become that guy who only celebrates. Well, I don't want to stop right now. I want to get to my next goal. I promise you, this gets you to your next goal faster. The people who don't stop to celebrate are the ones who burn out, are the ones who fizzle out, who never go past a certain level. And that level is also something you've set internally. But the more I celebrate, the more I say, Markus, you are killing it, my bar does keep getting higher, because I'm like, well, a guy like me who wins this much, shouldn't he get to these way higher levels? But if you go, how high should I get in life? Well, got a lot of losses. Probably right here is where I deserve to be. So I'm helping you go, I deserve to be way up here. I will be way up there, because look at my track record. Look at all these wins. And you don't have to worry about becoming an arrogant punk. I know you will balance yourself out. I know you wouldn't be listening to this if you were an arrogant punk. So you've already qualified yourself as the awesome person that I know you are.
Mhm. Yeah, qualified. I think that's such an important word for folks. Is you're qualified to have that celebration, and you've gotten yourself to that point. And I think oftentimes we don't want to look at how far we've come because of that deficiency
Yes.
mindset that a lot of us have. And that's a lot about what we talk about when we talk about connecting to mindsets, connecting to faith, connecting to strategies, connecting to those states. I think one of the key threads I hear you talking about is those states. A lot of people think strategy. I need the next strategy or tactic, but I think it all, 40-50% of it is the state that you bring into those
Yes.
strategy and execution tactics.
Oh, brother, so good. I love talking about state. I love talking about how I want to show up every single day. And this
Mhm.
is something I don't think enough people are talking about. Enough people are giving enough credence to how valuable this is. So imagine Marcus showing up to this podcast today, everybody, like this. Well, Greg, it was a tough day already. Rough sleep last night. How much am I going to be able to impact people today? And hey, some of you might be going, actually, maybe that would be a bit better because your energy is a little too much. Hey, I get that. I get that. My energy is not for everybody, but that also doesn't bother me because some people are tapping into this energy right now going, oh, I'm going to have a big day because of this guy's energy. So I'm not trying to tune everybody else out, but here it is. I need to show up like this because this is my authentic self. If I don't show up like this, if I don't have a great sleep, if I didn't get my exercise, if I don't eat right, if I don't have the right relationship with my wife and children, I know I don't get to show up in this state. As Marcus's best 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 showing up, then I'm going to be able to look for the words, get those words that want to come to my head, get the concepts out properly without skipping all over the place or without adding some sort of negative, oh, Marcus, you shouldn't be talking about that. Are you qualified to talk about that?
Mhm.
Heck yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I am. So if you showed up as your best self, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 every day, think about how much you could accomplish every single day. And entrepreneurs, I know what I'm talking about right now. How many times was I too tired to do a great job at my job? And I can think back on those days and I just wish I can go back and give the young Marcus a little smack and go, buddy, we need you at a 9 out of 10 today. We need you at a 10 out of 10 today. The sales that you'd be able to get, the relationships that you'd be able to create, the impact that you could be making right now on all the people around you. I missed those opportunities. I'm not guilting myself for that, but I'm learning from that so that today, tomorrow, and every day possible, I'm now going to show up as my 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 so that I don't miss any more of those opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. That's a stake in the ground point right there, and something we're gonna definitely highlight for many months to come. One of the things that I hear you talking about, and I talk a lot about this, is kind of the inside out job that we all have as a leader on a daily basis. And when you talk about all of the internal states and how that brings you into the outside world with this 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 energy to be able to connect with people and create relationships and to impact people just with a couple words, because they can feel that you're in a state that now changes their state. How have you found that balance between the internal work and that what we're doing in the external world? Or do you look at them as kind of one and the same when it comes to, you wake up, you obviously connect with your family, you practice your faith, you go out and, do your business activities. Some of those are more introspective, and some of them are more extrinsic. How has that evolved for you over time, throughout the different, seasons you've gone through?
Brother, this is such good questioning, man. You're doing so great. So proud of you, by the way. This is, to me, the question is really about being my authentic self. I think this is one, it's a journey that I will always be on. Two, it has radically changed over the years. Like in the last year, I'd say I've made the greatest progress in this. And I say that with the least amount of cockiness available because I am still at level 1 on my journey. But here's what I'm recognizing about the internal work and how it impacts the external. I need to show up as my authentic self. I need to continue to find who my authentic self is. This is the authentic Markus right this minute. Will it be the authentic Markus in a year from now? I have no idea. My guess is no, I will evolve again.
Yeah.
If I'm not my authentic self, I'm not able to connect to the people that I know need to connect to me. So again, just let's talk about energy. Now, remember, this is just one thing. This isn't the only thing, but this is one thing. I show up like this. And all the people who like the Markus, who were expecting the, oh, I needed this today, Markus. Thank you for that energy you poured on me, but they got this instead. And now, not only do the people who needed the high energy not contact me, but now a bunch of people who are like, oh, I really liked your like slow energy approach. I don't even speak that language.
Yeah.
So these people reach out to me, and I love all people. I'm not saying like, screw those people. No. But I don't speak their language. So now they're reaching out, and I'm trying to figure out how to talk to them in their language. Do you see how diverted I am on my path to where I was supposed to be? And this, to me, everyone, is why I felt like I was swimming upstream most of my life. And so if you are listening to this and you're like, I kind of feel like I'm swimming upstream all the time, my encouragement to you is find out what it means to just turn around and kind of go with the flow of your life. What is the flow of your life supposed to look like? I'm not talking about like, oh, I work so hard. Should I work less hard? No. But where you feel like you're battling who you're supposed to be. The clients I deal with are like so hard to talk to deal with, the connectivity. The more I am my authentic self, the more drawn to me are the people who are supposed to be drawn to me. And when I connect with those people, oh my goodness, it is so amazing and easy and obvious. This is just like friendship. How many adults listening, which by the way, I already know the answer to this. How many of you as an adult have tried hard to start a new friendship? And it's like, oh man, I'm just like, conversations to, and then once in a while you meet someone who you're just like, have I known this guy for 40 years? This is amazing. This is so easy. Well, the more you become your authentic self, which by the way, it takes work. It's not like I'm just saying, so go ahead, stop being not yourself and start being yourself. No, find out how to be your authentic self. There's work you're going to need to do. But as you do, you will start getting results very quickly. You'll start getting the rewards very quickly. And what I'm talking about is you'll meet somebody and you'll be like, oh, this is easy. They're so drawn to me. And some of my clients, I've gotten some, sometimes I do some mentoring work. I love doing mentoring work with the right people. And the right people to me, it's the energy connection, it's the ease of connection, it's their entrepreneurs who I know I can bring big value to them and to their company. And when I'm my authentic self, it's amazing. I meet them off of podcasts and they're like, your energy was awesome. I just wanted to be connected to you. I just want to be around you. I know that if Markus is in my life will be better. My business will be better. My relationships will be better. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to be part of.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think many people have their magnet backwards. And I think you talked a lot about that and I've felt this. So I really resonate with the point of when you're that true authentic version of you, as opposed to just trying to fit in with the people around you, because that's what feels good. And that's who, you eventually start to become that opposite version of your magnet, because that's what is easy and it kind of feels good, but you can feel that tension just continually building inside of, this is not who I am. And you keep telling yourself that, and then it's a revolving negativity loop. And I love that point of when you go out and you're who you're meant to be, you really attract the right people without even seeking it. So that, I know what a lot of the audience are asking themselves is, how do I get a little bit more of that? What exercise do I do? What, do I need to go connect with a different crowd that's way opposite of who I'm connecting with now, and see kind of what feels right, what feels wrong, and how have you kind of come to those points throughout, your journey to kind of get a little bit more clarity. I don't think it's you wake up one day, you make the change, and then the whole sky opens up and clarity's there for the rest of your life.
If it were only that easy, brother? So
Yeah.
I would love to give every listener a gift right now. And this is, let's call this step one on your journey. And it's a beautiful step. Oh my goodness, for anybody who opens up their ears to this, I promise you this will be transformative right here, right now. And it's just like what Greg said. We're fighting something inside. And for a lot of us, here it is. The stuff that's in your past, the stuff that makes you the you of today, the embarrassing stuff. We try and hide it. Oh, I don't want people to know I was a loser in high school. I don't want people to know my nerdy loser thoughts. I don't want people to know I asked out girls and they laughed at me. I don't want people to know these things, so I'm going to pretend this and that. What if all of that history is actually your greatest giftings? Those were gifts to you. Yeah, that's right. You being picked on, you being a nerd, you being rejected, those were gifts. And they were the gifts that are going to qualify you to connect with all the other people. Do you know how many people were losers in high school? It's a huge amount. And if I'm going, well, I don't know about that. I was the cool guy in high school. I had all the girls coming after me. How many people are like, ugh, I don't even want to listen to this guy. I don't know this guy. I don't connect with this guy. But when I go, hey, I played with Lego like 6 hours a day. I got rejected by so many girls early on. I used to watch Saved by the Bell for like 4 hours a day. Yeah, that's right. We're at like 10 hours a day of TV and Lego already. Yeah. That is who Markus was. And I know there's a bunch of people going, oh, dude, I like him already more. Yeah, that's right. So all the stuff you think is baggage, you think is the stuff that disqualifies you from being the awesome person you should be, it actually qualifies you. You get to own all that stuff. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to be like, oh, please don't look in that closet. There's so much embarrassing. No, you check out my closet. Is there anything in that closet that we could connect on? How about this one? Do you know how hard it was for me to not have a dad growing up? That was so freaking hard and embarrassing. I don't want people to know. Like, as a kid, we'd say stupid things like, well, my dad left because I was a loser. Especially a loser says that, right? A loser owns that. Do you know how much that connects me to other men? How many men out there didn't have fathers growing up? What is the number's probably like 35, 40%. Mm-hmm. That's 35 to 40% of guys who just perked up and were like, this guy feels my pain. Yeah. I knew I connected with this guy for a reason. And by the way, those are some of my best connections, some of my best friends. Why? Because we have big old scars that are so, oh, you have a scar too? Let's look at our scars. Let's compare scars. We get to know each other. What if I were to hide that? What? No. I had a dad who was always there. He was awesome. That's great. By the way, if that's your story, fantastic. There's a bunch of people who go, well, I don't want to hang out with the people without dads. Let's you and I connect. So just own your stuff. And if you look at everything in your past as a gift, especially the losses. And by the way, we don't have to go all the way back to childhood. You had a business that went out of business 2 years ago, 5 years ago. You went bankrupt a few years ago, or even recently. Do you know how much that will connect you to somebody else? One of my favorite mentors, David Meltzer, which I know, Greg, you're a big fan of as well.
Absolutely.
David owns all that stuff. He's like, yeah, I went bankrupt. Let me tell you what I learned from that. Do you know how much that draws us all in? So why not take the lead from an amazing leader like that and go, yeah, here's my crap. I was divorced. I was this. I was that. And own it, because there's a whole bunch of people who go, I want to be your friend. I wish I could talk confidently like that, because I went through that stuff, but I'm too embarrassed still. But I would love to have that kind of confidence. Boom. Open up the door.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, just think about the flip side. I think about the other side of that, where people are going out and living and masking all of that, or pushing it away, and they're projecting a vision or the characteristics of themselves that are kind of trying to sell a vision to people that don't really know them. And they're just, why would they buy the vision? Why would they want to connect with you if that vision is not, it doesn't feel real. It just feels like you're trying to make a transaction. And
Mm,
that's one of the reasons initially that we started the Connected Mindset Live. It's evolved over the past year and a half, but it was these conversations I was having with individuals, one on one, to try to find some of that clarity and find the right people. And when I found that conversation where I was able to bring my true self, and I did it, and then they were kind of step back, and then they started to bring their full self and the rawness, and we had so many different parallels and connections. And I thought, what if somebody else was just a fly on the wall, or was able to listen in and think about what that person's saying, what I'm saying, and kind of walk away a little bit better off. And the mission has grown, but just that simple feeling of wow, we both didn't have this growing up, or we had this situation happen. We transitioned out of a sport, and our identity was broken. We had seven failed businesses, bankruptcy, failed investors, all of these different things. They get brought up when you are the person that's shining that light first, because most people on the outside aren't going to do it for you. You're one of those people that bring that to the equation, and I think we all have to take accountability to bring that to the dynamic, because it really does attract people to us and connect us to the right things that make it kind of an easier flow. And I think about ease, it's not hard work, but ease as it feels effortless.
yeah.
There's no flaws in it. You're not second guessing what you're saying. You're putting it out there, and then they're reflecting it back of, wow, this feels so easy. And I love how you put a point in that of just kind of taking that into the world and making it a part of who you are, because you've done that. I can feel it. I know the audience can as well. Just it's a part of who you are. You're not forcing it to happen.
Thank you. And I love that you use the word ease. Like, by the way, we are dancing right now, brother, because that was the word that was on my mind, is ease. Adding ease to your life, it changes everything. Like, life doesn't have to be, it's, again, yes, hard work. We're not saying like, so it'll be such a breeze and you'll have so much money in your bank account. No, but it won't feel like such a struggle. And on that, I know this is a slight tangent, but it really is slightly connected here. I have this beautiful principle that I love encouraging people with. When you're trying to find someone's path to follow, and we all are, right? We're trying to model after somebody. And generally speaking, we look at somebody on social media, or we look at somebody who's on stage and they've got money and they seem like they've got a bunch of things. I like to create the analogy here of baking a pie. And I'm trying to bake the same pie as this person. However, I want to use a few different ingredients, because I don't like the way this guy treats people. With all due respect, he's been divorced twice. With all due respect, he doesn't have a relationship with his kids. So I don't want to be divorced. I do want to have a relationship with my kids. I do want to treat people well, but I want this, and this, like his life. Do you see how crazy that idea is? I'm trying to bake the pie, but by the way, you use milk. I don't want any milk or any milk product in there. You use flour. I'm not using flour. I'm going to change it to the. Why do you think you would end up with the same pie? Plus, there are millions of bakers out there, billions of bakers out there who've actually baked a pie with the exact ingredients that you have. So this is the difference between scarcity mindset and abundance mindset. Scarcity mindset says, hey, that's the only baker you've ever seen try to bake a pie anything like his using the wrong ingredients. Go find another baker who uses the same ingredients. Hey, I'm somebody who loves my wife after 20 years. I got 2 amazing daughters, which I have a great relationship with. I'm a man of faith. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Those are my ingredients. And if you want this level of success, which, by the way, I don't know if I'll ever be a billionaire, and I'm so okay with that. I don't need money. I don't need any more money to consider myself successful. So there it is. There's my pie. If you like that pie and you like these ingredients, then come check out how I made it. I'm so happy to share that recipe with you. But if you are somebody who's like, well, I don't like a few of those ingredients, then don't come check out my pie. Don't even taste it. Hey, go find someone else's pie who uses your ingredients.
Yep. I love that. I love the recipe analogy. Most people have cooked a dish and, good, bad, and different. They get how it adds up. And if you put a little bit of too much of something, then it's over the top. If you put not enough, maybe it doesn't have flavor. So I love that you made that analogy, because I think life should have flavor to it. It should have color. They should be bright colors. They should be whatever color you want to put out into the world. But your life should have color. It should have flavor, and it may not be the flavor for everybody. It's your unique flavor, and you're putting that out into the world for other people to try to benefit from, to give them something for years, decades to come, that keeps on giving. And I think food might not do that, but I think a lot of these things, when you talk about the recipe that Markus has developed, it's something that when that person finds you and finds your recipe, that it is extremely resonant with them. That's something that's going to keep giving for many years to come. One of the I think this is a great lead into the formula, the recipe to play a bigger game. I think everybody's probably questioning what is that bigger game for them, or what does 2025 look like? What was the recipe when you wrote Play a Bigger Game? What was the recipe that you kind of thought about putting out into the world that would help kind of that person that really resonates with the formula that you've created for yourself?
Great question. So number one, I just wanted to actually show my recipe. So I was called to write this book, and the book is my recipe. Here it is. If you like my results, if you want a life like this one, here it is. And by the way, it's a really simple read. And you know what? Many of the concepts you're going to hear in there, you're going to go, doesn't Tony Robbins talk about this? Doesn't Ed Milet talk about this? Yeah, totally. I'm not going, guys, this is the most original, I reinvented the wheel. No. Most of what everybody is saying has been said before in a different way. And I actually like to talk about it like, if you know music, every key has already been played once. It's just in a different order. And so sometimes this song, oh my goodness, that's an amazing song. But someone else would hear that and go, oh, that sounds awful. So here are my keys in my order. Do you like this song? And for me, playing a bigger game, I really want to help people play a bigger game in life. I know how hard it is to take those bigger steps. And the truth is, you don't have to take these radically big steps today. Like, you don't have to bet it all on black, if you will. It's not like that. It's the incremental, small changes, the little changes to your habits, the little things that you're going to say, I will do this consistently. I will do this every single day, because I know if I do this, it will yield that. And this book is to give you the confidence and the encouragement and the reassurance that if you do this, it will equal that. And the last thing I want to say about that is, we don't know the timelines. So I know for a fact you will feel more successful in life. It doesn't mean you're going to have $10 million. I'm not guaranteeing you your bank account's going to explode. But what I'm guaranteeing you is, with this book, you're going to feel more fulfillment in life, because it works on the mindset. It helps you recognize all the great gifts that are already in your life. We have so many giftings that we look right past. Gratitude is a key part, a key principle of my life. Because if we spend time in gratitude, gratitude and anxiety share the same firing spots in the brain. So if you are focusing on gratitude, you have no time for anxiety. You have no time for worry. So why not focus on gratitude? And all of a sudden you go, man, there's so much great stuff going on in my life. And from that state, from that place to show up in life, do you know how drawn people are to you? Do you know how drawn success will be to you? It's obvious. And the truth is, we all know it's true. We've met people like that where you're like, of course this person's going to be successful. Like I just want to be around this person. Can I just warm my hands on this person's warm, lovely glow? It works. And it's simple stuff. We just have to do it consistently. And we have to commit to doing it all the way. And we have to know our why. And it has to be our authentic you. It's a really simple formula. and I love to share it with people. I love to connect with people. If you read my book, if you listen to my book, if you listen to this podcast and something stood out to you, will you please reach out to me? I just love to pour a little extra encouragement on you, and you'd be encouraging me to know that, hey, something I said today, something I did today made an impact in your life. Oh man, that feels good to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely going to put the book in the show notes. I think I love that promise. It's going to make you feel more fulfilled. I think fulfillment, there's a lot of words out there people put to states, happiness, success, things of that nature. But I know the feeling of fulfillment from my athletic days and some of the things that have went the way God planned for me through my business life and things he tested me through. And I had to go through that to get to that feeling of feeling like I was fulfilling what I'm supposed to do. And I think that's the hard journey. And I'm definitely looking forward to the folks that are listening in today, reading the book and giving that feedback back on, wow, I feel more fulfilled, and reaching out to you to be able to kind of create that win-win, because you put this out into the world. I know that action is so important for you to continue to fulfill the person that you're supposed to be, or that you are, or that you're becoming. And I know a lot of people are searching for that. So I'm glad you kind of baked that into the the recipe of the book and the formula that you put out into the world. I just think that's so important for people.
Greg, can I give you some encouragement right now, brother? And I think you know this. So this is really just like to encourage you with it, that you are definitely on the right path. What if every challenge you face, every challenge, the littlest challenge, someone cuts you off in traffic, to the bigger challenges like, oh man, I think this is going the wrong way for my business right now. What if every single challenge is actually a gift from God? A gift from the creator who knows all, who sees all, who's already been through time and back, who sees it so differently. When I was given that gift, it was such a radical change in my life, how I feel. Because think about it. This is actually a gift. Imagine how you approach that challenge. I'm not saying I approach it like, yay, there's another challenge. All right. Oh, good. I lost money today. All right. Hold on. To some degree, yes. Of like, okay, it's a great challenge. I needed to experience this so that I could become a better version of myself. Do you know how much confidence that builds? How much confidence it builds to go, the creator of the world took his time to put this in my life for a reason. This is the grade 2 test, so I can go to grade 3. I can't go to grade 3, 4, 5, 6 university until I go through this challenge. So I'm accepting the challenge. I welcome the challenge. Thank you for this challenge. To be grateful for our challenges. Can you imagine how much that changes us? But Greg, you clearly are on that path, brother. I want to encourage you on it. You are doing so great, and it is going to be so transformative.
I love that. I appreciate that, Marcus. That means a lot to me. Really does. One of the things that really sticks out, through all the content that you put out online, obviously through your book, is the importance of action. And I know action is talked about a lot, but knowing what actions to prioritize. I'm curious if throughout your business journey, there were a couple actions that really felt right, and then maybe some that you took, but you kind of had that gut feeling that I shouldn't do this, but I feel like I need to do it because that's what society's telling me to do. Curious if I know how important action is to you, and taking focus, prioritize action. And I know a lot of people listening in today, they want to continue to take action, but they may not know what action to take. And I'm curious if you found any strategies, exercises, thought processes that have really helped you take those actions.
Phenomenal. So I'm such a huge proponent of action. Take action today. There was something in this podcast. If you're still listening, there was something in this podcast today that stood out to you. Like, maybe I should be doing that. Not maybe. Do it. Do it today. What would happen if you just took action on it today? And when we talk about the priorities of action, there's a couple things I want to say. Number one, I think we think about that too much, and it paralyzes us. The old paralysis by analysis. We overthink things. Well, is this the right act? Let me go back to my pros and cons list. Let me do a SWOT analysis on it again. Listen, there's a time to do that stuff, and then there is a time to start moving. So take some action. Second, you're doing a bunch of actions that you're like, I'm really not sure if it's moving the needle or moving me forward. Okay. Could you keep doing that action while taking another action? The answer is usually yes. And we go, yeah, but now do I have the energy for all that? Yes, you do. You will be amazed how much your body and your mind can do if you demand more. You know, really quick tangent, I love the studies that are showing these 60-plus-year-old people who are now exercising and have as much testosterone flowing through their body as someone in their 20s. Why? Because they're demanding it from their body. Yeah. How awesome is that? So if you demand more from your body, you will receive more from your body. And I am living proof that this is absolutely true. And on action, one of the other pieces of the question that you asked that I think is so good, is there an action as an entrepreneur that I would encourage? I, for years and years, knew I should be investing more into other people, into my staff, into the people around me. And I just kept going, yeah, but I got to get it done. Nobody's going to get it done better than me. I'm the one who loves my business. It's my business. I'll get it done. I'll do more. I was limited by how much Markus was capable of. And it's not a lot. As soon as I started investing in others, encouraging others, empowering others, supporting them in their decisions, investing in their education, my business started going way bigger. It was way more fun. And I was able to take such a nice big step back. In fact, it was the key catalyst that allowed me to sell one of my biggest businesses, which everybody said, you'll never be able to sell that business because you are that business.
Yeah.
And there was no argument. You're right, I am. I was, until I wasn't. Until I made the focus on others. And they started making the decisions. They started killing it. That business started killing it. And I got to go, it's not mine anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, team's so important to me. I know it is to you as well, and how important other people are to our journey. This is not it's not a lone wolf game. It really, when we pour into other people, I think Zig Ziglar said it. When we pour into other people, typically we connect with the right people, but it also gives us that fulfillment that we're looking for as well. Versus trying to solve the problem inside and do the SWOT analysis, the pros and cons. And that we get that paralysis by analysis, which is something I know I've battled in my past, going from a pitcher that was, such a cerebral activity. Obviously, it was physical, but you had to think about the strategy and what this hitter does. And I know I got into that trap early on in my business career. Once I was able to get out of that and turn all the skills I had onto other people and help them continue to grow, that's where I started to feel fulfillment. And it's a continual process. It's not an end state. It's not you get there and then you can now go back into your cave and start to do all the analysis internally. I think it's an incredible way you've been able to describe it. Markus, I know there's a lot of people listening in today that want to connect with you. What's the best way for them to reach out, connect with you further after this episode?
Oh, thank you. Come find me on Instagram. Markus Kaulius, really easy to spell, I know. You'll find how to spell in the show notes and the links, but come hit me up on Instagram, send me a message, or else find me at playabiggerdame.com. We do free seminars here and there. I love connecting with people, especially the people who I'm supposed to be connected with. So please bless me to get connected with you if you know you're supposed to be connected with me.
Yeah. I love that message. Markus, you're such a blessing to the people listening today, to the people around you. I can just tell that you really put out an energy that leads people to elevate themselves, which I think is the biggest calling. When we think about our Creator, he projects a message that helps us all feel like it's a never-ending journey, and that's the enjoyable part, to continue to elevate and to be a shining light. And you're such a shining light for people, and something that I really appreciate about you. And Looking forward to continuing to follow your journey, Markus. One of the ways we like to end the show, because we could talk for hours on everything, all the great perspectives and experiences you've had up to this point, is what does connection mean to you? We've talked about it a lot throughout the show.
Greg, I just want to say thank you so much. I mean, you're doing such a spectacular job. I know I sound like a broken record, but I don't care. Thank you for the opportunity to hang out with you, to spend this time with you and your amazing audience. And connection to me, and again, this has changed so much over the years. Connection to me right now is connecting to the people who I know I'm supposed to be connected to. I feel like we've each been designed perfectly to be this unique puzzle piece. And we fit perfectly in the whole of this world as this puzzle piece. But because of society, because of social media, we try to change how we look, and it doesn't quite fit. And we don't get connected properly. So the more I get to be my authentic self and just fit right where I'm supposed to, and the right people are going to be drawn to me, I'm going to be drawn to the right people. The life that I'm supposed to have is going to happen as long as I keep taking action, as long as I keep growing, as long as I keep pushing myself, and as long as I show up as the best version of me every single day. And so I'm so excited to connect to anyone who feels that connection with me right now. And man, I'm going to be praying for you, Greg. I just think so highly of you, and God bless you, man.
God bless. Thanks so much, Markus.